Good morning, fellow listeners, and welcome to another episode of Quest for You. Thank you so much for tuning in and ready yourself for change. This is episode 58, and today we're going to talk about learning. You see, in our hectic lives with ever-increasing responsibilities, we often don't have time for learning something new. I can see this especially for myself and my friends who have successful careers. When we get home, our brains are exhausted. There's little room to absorb something new. All we want is relax, sleep, not think about anything that is taxing on the brain. However, learning is critical on your path towards greatness. Today's episode is not about random learning. Learning, studying, the pursuit of knowledge, it's good for us. Science supports the importance of learning in keeping brains active and healthy for a lifetime. Mental exercise, especially learning new things or pursuing activities that are intellectually stimulating, may strengthen brain cells networks and help preserve mental functions. This is important to keep in mind as we age. So go for it. Learn a new language, take a course in any subject you're interested in. But today I want to emphasize on focused learning. Learning to help you move forward with your goals and your dreams. Learning is part of becoming great. Learning is critical to being successful in your endeavors. Whether it's just a hobby, like a blog, or a form of art, or your soon-to-be side business. We often tend to think of learning only as it relates directly to our task or interest. But there's more. I met a woman a couple of weeks ago that quit her job and started her own consulting business. She has a ton of certifications and I liked her idea. She even has a really cool name for her business. However, she shared some of her struggles with me, mostly related to technology. Many companies now conduct trainings and seminars remotely via video conference. And she's not very comfortable with that technology. So this could be a major obstacle getting her business off the ground. Often, we invest a lot of time into learning to get us started onto our journey. But once we started and we are there, we forget to add new knowledge. Or we become narrow-minded, only focused on the immediate subject matter, not considering other changes as they relate to our area of expertise. Technology, as you saw in my example, is a big one. It changes constantly, and as it changes, it redefines all our careers. If you're older, I'm sure you remember when computers hit the mainstream society and how they redefined every single job on this planet. Everyone that is conducting business, maybe not directly, but somewhere in their work environment, uses computers. So yes, your craft, your profession, your career, what brings you joy and income, you need to not only be good at it, but also stay good at it. You should always expand and grow your knowledge. This should be your number one priority. But also, and I want to encourage you, look beyond. If you are a knowledge expert, a master at your craft, can you expand your perspective? Can you use your expertise in other ways, not just as your main source of income? And I'm talking to those of you who have played with the idea of getting creative, trying something new. Maybe you're not as fulfilled in your job as you thought you would be, but you have skills, you have knowledge and expertise in an area that the majority of people don't know anything about. In what other ways can you use this knowledge? Maybe build on it, turn it into something new and different. I have a friend in Dallas who's a lawyer. He has worked as a lawyer all his life. Successful, he became a partner, everything you can imagine. But he constantly applies his legal knowledge in creative ways. It's amazing, actually. He really likes teaching. Early on, he became a mentor for law school students. He was an early user of handheld devices. You could always see him in restaurants typing away. He started a blog and later created videos. He's a literature lover, both fiction and non-fiction, and in his writings and recordings he combines his legal knowledge with concepts and lessons learned from the books he reads. He creates messages for all audiences. You don't have to have a legal background to be able to understand them. He's a perfect example of what I mean with this changing of perspective. Think creatively. If you're tired of your career, don't ditch your craft. You spend so much time learning and perfecting it. I always admire people who have a solid craft. They know how to do something. Painters, carpenters, architects, photographers, lawyers, etc. It takes a long time to become good at something. Don't ignore what you know and what you're good at. If it doesn't give you joy in your 9-to-5 job, or if it doesn't pay, or it takes too much time, get creative with it. Or if you're simply seeking a new challenge, like my friend, think how you can apply what you know in new ways. My friend is a great example that illustrates everything I would like for you to consider today. He combines his knowledge, which is in the legal field, with his passion, which is literature. He also combines knowledge in his legal field with purpose, teaching and mentoring. He keeps learning and stays on top of new developments, even though they are not directly related to his main area of expertise, such as technology. And then he applies his new knowledge with his existing knowledge to reinvent himself, to expand his reach through his videos and his blog. This is how I would like for you to think about learning, especially if you don't know where to start. This is not to say that you cannot completely start over and do something totally new and different, but most of us don't have the time or resources to do so. And remember, when I talk about finding your passion and your purpose, this is a practical way of how you can go about it. Learning, develop your knowledge base and improve your skills. This should also apply to your reading. Don't just limit your reading to the subject matter that interests you. I used to be one of those leadership book devourers, one after another. After a while, the stuff sounds all the same. Now I read a mix of books. I also listen to a variety of podcasts, all with the goal to help me become better at what I do. Learn from others. Read the biographies of the great masters, the people that became hugely successful and changed the world. Listen to the interviews or watch the TED Talks. At some point, after doing this for some time, you will say to yourself, I can do this too. And to that I say, yes, you can. Learning needs to be part of your journey. Learn to keep your skills up and learn to grow. Often, it is the two of them combined that lead you to your greatest adventure yet to come. Learning means you admit you don't know everything. You're being humble and you're opening yourself up to something new, something a bit risky and unknown. It takes courage to learn, but it's good for your self-esteem and your maturity in the long run. And, like I always say, you never know. You wake up one day, you're on your meditative walk, and you suddenly have a spark, an idea to start something, to reinvent something, to apply the knowledge in new and creative ways. So go into your day today and expand your mind in new and creative ways and start learning. Much love.